Good evening, I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Alarming news, Maryland reports almost 3,000 new coronavirus cases overnight and the highest single-day death count since May. Keisha Butts has the details.
The daily COVID death rate in Maryland has hovered in the mid-20s to mid-30s in recent weeks, but over the last day, there's been an alarming spike. COVID-19 has killed 50 people in the last 24 hours. By comparison, the state health department reported 20 fatalities yesterday. Meantime, the agency says there are more than 2,600 new coronavirus cases today, bringing the total number of people who have contracted the disease to 219,961. The department also reports more than 20,500 COVID-19 cases in nursing homes statewide. More than 2,000 residents living in these homes or assisted living facilities have succumbed to the virus. In Maryland jails, almost 1,500 inmates have contracted the coronavirus and 12 have died. In Prince George's County, health officials say there are 44,894 confirmed cases and 937 deaths. This is Keisha Butts with CTV News.
Metro loses its third employee to COVID-19. It happened over the weekend when a member of the agency's occupational support team died. In a memo sent to employees announcing the death, Metro GM Paul Wiedefeld said that the tragic loss is a reminder that no one is immune from the deadly disease. The employee was not identified, but officials say contact tracing was performed to determine if workers interacted with the employee during the illness. Since March, 574 Metro workers have tested positive for the virus. An employee assistance program has been set up for those who want to help or counseling to cope with the 3 deaths and the stress created by the pandemic. The United Kingdom gives out its first COVID-19 vaccine doses. 90-year-old Margaret Keenan, a retired British shop clerk, received the first shot. The UK is the first Western country to start a mass vaccination program after British regulators last week authorized use of the shot developed by American drug maker PFIZER. U.S. and European regulators may approve the vaccine in the coming days or weeks, fueling a global immunization effort. Sources say President-elect Joe Biden plans to name retired General Lloyd Austin to be the next Secretary of Defense. If he is confirmed, the 67-year-old would be the first black Pentagon chief. Austin rose to become a 4-star general in the Army. He retired in 2016 as the chief of U.S. Central Command, overseeing operations across the Middle East. Biden is set to formally unveil his pick for Secretary of Defense on Friday. Meantime, he also picked Javier Becerra to head the Department of Health and Human Services. Becerra currently serves as the California Attorney General. During his tenure as the AG, Becerra had led the fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. He also was party to a number of lawsuits against the Trump administration on various policy issues. If confirmed, he would be the first Latino to lead the department. As we've reported, a work group tasked with studying police reform issues in Prince George's recently submitted its final report to County Executive Angela Alsobrooks. The 104-page report, which includes 50 recommendations, discusses everything from mental health to body cameras. Former State's Attorney Glenn Ivey says the work group covered multiple important issues.
The pretextual traffic stops, and by that I mean when officers stop a car, they use a traffic violation to do it, but they really don't care about the traffic violation. What they're really trying to do is stop the car and search it. And there's been a heavy focus on young black males and Latino males who become the victims of those kinds of stops. So we're trying to stop that. Yeah, I think it's been abused for a long time now. And I think it's been very detrimental and damaging to the relationship between police and the community.
The work group included policymakers, community organizers, faith leaders, law enforcement officials, and county government representatives. Maryland Matters reports that House Speaker Adrian Jones plans to reintroduce legislation that would provide additional funding to the state's HBCUs to end the lengthy lawsuit over inequitable funding. The bill, which called for $577 million in additional funding over 10 years, passed unanimously in the Senate and 129-2 in the House. It was vetoed by Governor Hogan, who cited economic concerns due to the pandemic. Lawmakers made the decision to reintroduce the measure next session, since the original bill's implementation was contingent on the state reaching a final settlement by December 1st, 2020. The original lawsuit alleging the state underfunded its 4 HBCUs was filed in 2006. Police are asking for the public's help solving a 7-year-old cold case. This is Brandon Johnson. He was 17 at the time of the murder. Officers were called to the 4900 block of Suitland Road on December 7th, 2013. Police found Johnson in a parking lot suffering from gunshot wounds. A $25,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to an arrest and indictment in the cold case. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Solvers. So you worked at home during the pandemic. Like many other workers, it may have required upgrading your Wi-Fi. Perhaps you had to buy a new chair or desk, your home computer depreciated, or you bought a new laptop. And a portion of your house is now dedicated to being a home office. What does that 10 months of remote work mean for your 2020 tax return? University of Maryland accounting lecturer Samuel Handwerger says don't get your hopes up about that deduction.
But now you've got this home and you got this little cordoned off area that you're calling a home office, and it suddenly dawns on many people that they've heard of something called a home office deduction. So suddenly the phone calls to me next, the CPA, hey, I want to talk to you about my taxes. I have home office deduction this year, right? Thinking that it's going to reduce their tax burden. And in the 2017 Tax Cut Jobs Act, that was nixed. That's no longer available for employees.
Seems to be a difference if you are a freelancer, if you have your own business. How would that work?
If you have your own business, all items that you expend in order to produce that income, or to at least attempt to produce that income, is deductible. So if you have no office outside of your house and there is an area inside of your rental apartment, houseboat, if you will, that is cordoned off specifically for this office use, for this production of income as an independent contractor or part of the gig economy, then that is still deductible under the current tax code. You didn't lose that under the last tax act.
Handwerger, who is also a certified public accountant, says there is some good news. Most workers save quite a bit of money not having to commute, likely spending less on gas or public transportation, as well as getting a rebate on car insurance. Well, don't ruin your holiday season by driving impaired. That's the message from Maryland State Police. Drivers can expect to see more state troopers patrolling highways this month. They'll be on the lookout for impaired, aggressive, or distracted drivers. If you plan to go out and enjoy holiday libations, troopers ask that you consider using a rideshare service or get a designated driver. A new and improved Giant grocery store is soon coming to Livingston Square. Velocity Companies, a real estate developer, plans to open a new Giant in this shopping center next year. It's revitalizing the entire shopping area, which is located in Fort Washington. Velocity says it's eliminating food deserts and creating a community shopping hub. Councilmember Monique Anderson Walker, who represents District 8, is hosting a virtual town hall meeting tonight with Velocity Companies. That starts at 6:30. Well, it was a big win for the Washington football team. The Burgundy and Gold traveled to Pittsburgh last night and came away victorious. Now, trailing 14-3 at halftime, Washington came back to beat the previously undefeated Steelers 23-17.
We knew this was going to kind of be this brand of football coming up here, you know, playing Pittsburgh in December. We knew it was going to be a little bit ugly, and proud of our team, I think, to find a way to win this game like that. Especially as young as we are, I think it showed a lot of maturity.
It's not always going to be pretty, but, you know, we got guys that's going to fight into the end. So we appreciate that as veteran guys, and seeing these younger guys finally, you know, taking the initiative to do the things that they need to do right and get open for the quarterback and run the right route.
Coach says plays are out there to be made, and they don't care who makes them. And it's the person who gives the most effort who's going to make that play.
When the game was over, I went into the locker room and I pulled out the flip card. I said, "Well, let me read my victory speech to you guys. Underdogs win." And told the guys, I said, "Just understand this, and we talk about it. You know, we control our destiny. We have to pay attention and focus in on us, not what's happening outside of us, but what happens with us." And that's kind of the approach we're going to use, because, you know, going forward, we can't count on anybody else winning or losing. We have to count on us winning. And I think that's the thing that these guys are beginning to understand.
The Washington football team, now 5-7 on the year, will take on San Francisco next Sunday. Well, we're going to get a quick check now on your 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 29 degrees. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 47 and a low of 33. Thursday and Friday, sunny with daytime temps in the mid-50s. Evening lows will range from 33 to 43 degrees. The Prince George's County Police Department is teaming up with Toys for Tots for their annual holiday toy drive. Each year, officers make sure that they provide holiday toys for families in need around the county. This year, the event is virtual. Participants can donate toys through the Toys for Tots Amazon wish list. Residents can also donate unwrapped toys to any Prince George's County Police Station. For more information, contact your local police department. And now, that wraps up our news for now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all of the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. That's PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.GOV. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
My God.
It's another sad day in America.
Painful to be introduced to George Floyd during his last breath.
With the cop's knee on his neck.
He deserves so much more.
How many black lives have to be taken before something is done?
We are not a threat.
I am shaking as I type.
This has got to stop.
We are sick of it.
We need conviction.
I just want us all to live.
The deaths will not stop until the powers that be are finally held accountable.
Don't look away from the truth until every one of us are free from white supremacy.
The world stands with you.
Criminalizing and killing of black and brown bodies is not new. It's as old as America. It's just getting filmed more.
Do you know what it feels like to be hunted? To have a new hashtag for a dead black person every single day? How does one plan a life if they aren't sure they will have a life to plan?
Armstrong, Deborah Dance,
Nina Pop, Stephen Clark, Megan Nia Wilson,
Keisha Mike,
Christopher
George Floyd. His name was George Floyd. Say his name.
Say his name.
George Floyd, say his name.
Say their names. Once again and always, we fight for justice. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Rest in power, beautiful.
Go to blacklivesmatter.com.
I moved to Florida with literally pennies in my pocket and a prayer. I needed a new start. Dacian looks like a very typical 3-year-old until you ask him, "What's your name? How old are you?" My son has a lot of behaviors that would show as being autistic. Most kids can tolerate a variety of foods, but unfortunately for Dacian, everything has to be organic and raw. I wasn't ashamed to go to the food pantries. It's expensive to eat healthy, and nutrition is very important to Dacian's health. The healthy, organic food that we receive dramatically helped his social skills. Most people would say, she really doesn't have much of a life. But to me, I have everything right there next to me and my son.